this video, I'm going to show you how to do another duotone double exposure effect, this time on a white background. So the first thing we're going to do is separate both of our images, this guy, this girl, from our background. To do that, just click over here on the fourth tool down, quick selection tool, and go over to select subject. And Photoshop's going to do a pretty good job of selecting your subject. In this case, did a really good job. If it doesn't do a good job, I'm just going to zoom in here. You might get a patch that looks like this, that's kind of jutting out, or it's, added a part that you don't want. Then just go up to this minus right here and just paint over it and take it away. And just like this, if you have a part that is jutting in that you want as part of your selection, go to the plus and nudge it back out. Okay, so once you have your selection kind of the way that you want, go up to select and mask, click up there. If you don't see this kind of look here with the red background, you can go over here and go to overlay right there and adjust, how intense the red is over here. The only thing I'm going to do here is, even though I have this patch right there that I kind of messed up on the arm, I don't really care for this one. It's not a big deal to have a perfect selection for this effect. So I'm just going to smooth things out a bit like this, maybe feather just a touch, and I'm going to shift my edge back a bit. And then just go down to output 2 and change selection to layer mask and click OK. And you're going to see right here, it's going to put a mask on where everything that's white is what we still have left, and everything that's black is what's covered up or essentially kind of erased for now. And then obviously you're going to go to the other image and do the exact same thing. All right, so once you have both images cut out, you're just going to go to one of them and go over to your move tool, the top one up here, left click on it, hold the click down, drag over to the tab of the other one, still hold the click down, drag it in and let go. And you'll see that now you have two layers, one for the new image and one for the original down here. In this case, I'm just going to show you how to resize and rotate your images to kind of place them where you want them. So I'm going to start with the image of the guy here, and I'm going to go Control T and just shrink him down. Go to the corner. I'm going to shrink him down because I want her to be a little more prominent in the image than him. So kind of shrink him down like that. And then I'm going to go to the corner here, outside the corner where this little curvy arrow thing is, and just kind of rotate him over just a bit, kind of place him in there. When you have him where you want him, just click check up here to apply the transformation. And then for her, I'm going to click on her layer, go Control T, and I'm just going to rotate over just a bit and then maybe move her just slightly. And I'm going to use my arrow keys to kind of nudge her back this way a bit. And then I'll click check to apply it. Now, the only thing I don't like is this like kind of jut out here. There was like a pillar or post that came down here that cuts her leg off. I'll fix that up near the end. Next, we're just going to add in our background. In this case, it's just going to be a white background. So we're going to go down here to this little half circle thing, adjustment layers, click on it, go up to the very top, select solid color, and just drag it right to the top corner here to be white and click OK. Then you're going to make sure, obviously, that you click over here and drag and bring it down to the bottom right here so it's underneath both of the other two. At this point, we're already ready to start manipulating the colors that we want our two subjects to be. So go to one of them, doesn't matter, I'm going to go to the top one, double click to the right over here, which brings up the layer style menu, go to where it says advanced blending, down to channels, and just uncheck the R, which is going to leave G and B, green and blue, and you'll see that it'll create an effect over here like this. Then just click OK. Don't worry about what color it is right now. We're going to change the color later. Then on the other one, you're going to double click over here, go into the same place, but uncheck the other two. So instead of unchecking R, uncheck G and B, then click OK, and you'll notice that it'll look something like this. Next, we're going to go over to our top layer here, click on it, and then go down to our adjustment layers again, click on it, and add a hue saturation adjustment layer this time. And it should end up at the top. If it doesn't, if you didn't click on your top layer, it might end up down here. Make sure you just click on it and drag it to the very top. Now, in here, this hue slider up top here, if we slide this, you'll see that the colors will change, and they will change kind of in correspondence with each other to keep them as complementary colors. So purple and yellow in this case, and if we slide down, we can get, orange and blue. So it'll just stay as complementary colors. So if you want that, then it's an easy slide. Just find the one that you want. But sometimes it's hard to get them both looking good. Like in this case, the green is really washed out. The red is prominent, but the green is kind of bad. So my suggestion is put it back in the middle and go up to the top here, and we're going to go to reds first and just use the slider. Now it's only going to impact the red one that we had over here. So in this case, I want mine to be, I think I'll make this one a kind of light blue, so kind of somewhere in there. And then you can also adjust saturation. So if I want to punch up the color a little bit, I'm not going to go too much. And then obviously you can change the lightness if you want down here as well. Then the other side, we're going to go down to cyans, and that one will change the other side. And I'm just going to slide it over to be kind of like a just transitioning from purple to pink right there, and just punch up the saturation just a bit as well. Now, you might be looking at this going, well, his face looks bad. Like there's no detail or anything in there. Well, this stage that we just did was just about getting the right colors. Now we're going to deal with getting the detail back into our subjects here. So to do that, we have to add 2 more adjustment layers to each of our layers here. So I'm going to start on the top one, and I'm going to go down here to adjustment layers again. I'm going to add first black and white, and then I'm going to add a brightness contrast. Now we might not even use the brightness contrast, but I'm going to add both anyway. And then I'm going to go to the other layer, my one down here, and do the same thing. I'm going to add a black and white, and then I'm going to go here and add a brightness contrast. Then for each of these, you're going to click on it and then go up to this little thing right here. It's like the box with this like curvy arrow down, and just click on it. And then go to the other one here and click on it. And what that's going to do is that's going to say both of these adjustment layers are only impacting this image right here. So then you got to go up to this one up top here, click on this black and white, put the clipping mask on it. That's what it's called, clipping mask. And then this one, you do the same thing, clipping mask. So now we have a brightness and contrast and a black and white that's impacting just this one, and then a second set of them that's impacting just this image. And you can see that that fixed the issue with his face immediately once we did that. It's really the black and white that does that. So now all you're going to do is adjust the sliders in here. So I'm going to start with her over here. So I'm going to click on this one, this box right here, and you'll see these sliders come up. You can just manipulate these sliders and it'll do kind of different things to the image. So I'm not going to go too much. I kind of like some of the tone of her skin being left in there. If you go too much, that's too much contrast for me. So I'm going to stay maybe just about right there. Yellow, I'm going to manipulate that one, maybe go to about there. And I don't know if any of these other ones do anything. So this just impacts kind of down here at her jeans. So I'm going to pump that up just a little bit. And this also does, so I'll just keep that around there. And this magenta one does nothing. So some of those sliders will do something, some of them will do nothing. Okay, then I'm going to go up to this black and white layer, which is impacting the guy over here, and I'll do the same thing. I'll just slide these along. I want to kind of leave some kind of detail in his like skin tone, so I'm not going to go too much to make it too contrasty like that. I'm just going to punch it up just a little bit. And on him, I don't think any of these other ones do anything. I'll just quickly go through. So nothing else does anything. And then if you're still wanting a different kind of image, you can try and deal with brightness and contrast too. So I'm just going to show you on this. If I click on the little sun, half sun looking thing here, then I can try and slide this up. So if you want to kind of punch up the brightness and increase the contrast to have a little bit more of a dark, like contrast between the light areas and the dark areas, you can kind of play around in here as well. But you can pretty much do that in black and white. But anyway, I just like to add it because it's another kind of control thing that we can do if we need. So let's just try on hers over here. So I'm going to click on this, and maybe for hers, maybe I will punch hers up just a little bit and add a little bit of contrast in there. And really that's it. That's the entire effect. But I do have another little thing that you can try if you want kind of a third color. Instead of this being kind of just like a dark kind of combination of these, if you go to the layer that you start, your top layer, and double click to the right to bring up that layer style menu, the one that you had 2 on, we're going to leave. Okay, so just leave that one, click OK. But if we go to the other one and we double click, the one that you only had 1 thing checked, if you try and check the other one, like over here, or maybe I'll try this one right here, you'll see that now we have green, blue, and kind of purple in the mix here. So I'm going to click OK on that one. And I'm just going to now go back up to the very top to hue saturation. And I'm going to try and pick, I think, so is this going to be greens now that I can manipulate? Yeah, so now she's greens. and I can bring her back. I still want her to be kind of that kind of transition from purple to pink. And then this right here is still gonna be cyans, I think. So I can actually maybe make it more purple, or I can change whatever color I want in there to make it something different. I'm gonna kind of keep it, kind of with the theme of this, the pink, blue, and purple, kind of in the same kind of realm there. So now I have 3 different colors, and you get kind of a different look when you do it that way as well. And then the final thing you want to do is really kind of just place your images. So if you still need to like nudge them around, move them to where you want them to actually be, then just kind of get them to the final spot that you want for your project. Now, for me, I mentioned at the start that there still is this issue with this leg, whatever, being cut off. So you can deal with it in a couple of ways. All I'm going to do is go back to my mask that's on that layer. So the thing that's got the black and the white on it. So make sure you're clicked on that. I'm going to go over to a brush, make sure it's black in the foreground here. So click this little arrow thing if you need to get black. And I'm just going to pick a fairly large brush with a kind of medium hardness, so around 50%. I'm going to make sure my opacity is, I'm just going to say maybe somewhere around 75. And I'm just going to kind of touch up that kind of section, just kind of blur it out, because nobody's really going to know what that is. So I'm just going to kind of take it away like that, maybe even drop my opacity even more, and then blur this out right down to basically nothing. Maybe even bring the size way up too, and just really just fade this into the other kind of stuff. Maybe even get rid of it completely. I don't know. Something like that. That's fine. And that's it. That's how you make a duotone double exposure with a white background in Photoshop. If you got something out of this video, make sure to drop a like. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and I'll catch you next time.